Hello there, Price of Reason here with a special last minute review that I'm doing for Quantum Leap sequel series, the so called sequel series. A terrible episode aired last night, and I'm going to be going over it. I can tell by the comments that perhaps people didn't even know that such an episode aired, but nevertheless, it did air, and I'm going to go over it. I know that sometimes these videos that I do for the sequel ones, they typically get more views later. Somebody's just looking for a review. Usually there's a few shills that do reviews that anything that happens on these episodes, they say it's the best thing ever. I mean, it's fine if you enjoy it, but some of these YouTube channels that are so excited about it, I often get the impression that perhaps they have a reason for getting excited about it, and let's leave it at that. So without further ado, let's begin. I'm going to try to share the screen here so we can go over the episode itself. And if anybody is here, just you're welcome to say hi. I did see a few people, and I hope the Rumble thing is working. It's hard for me to kind of check that out, but let's begin. Hopefully, this thing is being shared. So yes, it does seem to be shared, which is good. And let's see if I can do something to give it a little. Uh, let's do this because I don't want I don't want to. I'm trying to think. You know what? Fine, I'll do it so that we see it rather in a big way. I mean, I'm not playing it. I'm just kind of going through the images. So I'll just talk about it. The episode starts off uh, where they recap all the stuff that happened last time. He was in Cairo with that new love interest of his, Hannah, and Ben's disappointed fiance's new boyfriend, who I refer to as sensitive douche. He is actually possibly planning on proposing to Ben's disappointed former fiance, and now he wants her to be his disappointed fiance. It's a lot to think about. In any case, we start off. Ben is driving a car. He doesn't quite know what's going on. He's trying to figure it out. He doesn't know. And it turns out that he's handcuffed to a guy in his car. After he fishes around through his wallet and just talking to him, he understands that he's a bounty hunter and that this guy is his prisoner. And then once they get to some kind of stop here, he tries to get as much info as he can to try to understand what's going on. It's April 10th, 1970. He talks to a lady who is in charge of the bail bondsman company. This already for me is a red flag, to be honest with you. I mean, we're not talking 2023 or 2024 here. We're talking 1970. Yes, it's possible that there was a lady that was a girl boss and she did the whole bails bond thing with all these rough criminals. But between you and me, I'm pretty sure that that was a rarity. And of course, this show with its dumb retroactive reverse history, the reverse history here, you have her all girl bossing. She has even the pink hair like she's in 2024 or whatever it is. I don't buy any of this. It's not a matter, again, if it was 2024, you could imagine that maybe more women have gotten into this field. The second that you're in 1970 and you already see this, it doesn't ring true to me personally. Um, and the thing is, it's not that it's some kind of anomaly that once in a while something like that happens on this show. Every single show, it's like when he traveled to 1915 and the doctor was a person of color who would never be that doctor at that time. It's not a matter of it's not that I don't want there to be a doctor in that area at that time. It just doesn't ring true historically. So the same thing here. It's not as blunt as that one, but I can still tell what a bunch of weirdo modern day activists sit there in this writing room, if you even want to call it a writing room, because nothing on this show qualifies. Most of what I see here doesn't qualify for writing. Uh, it's funny, I don't remember the name of the guy, but somebody actually, somebody actually So here I see Ron in the comments agree it's not period accurate. Yes, again, it's not like you have one and you're saying, okay, that's some weird anomaly. It's every single episode here. And the funny thing is, I can't remember the tweet somebody forwarded to me that somebody boasted online. They said, I wrote this great episode that you're going to see of Quantum Leap tonight. And I'm thinking to myself, buddy, if I were you, I would not really boast so much, because there's nothing here that's worth boasting about, in my opinion. Anyhow, jump to modern day. You have the Quantum Leap Laboratory team in 2023 or 4, wherever they're supposed to be, and you have random office guy person uh, who's still here, along with Chief Security Officer Lady, Sensitive Douche, Magic, and Ben's disappointed fiance. Apparently now there's this new thing that they've introduced here, a new stupid kind of call it a mystery box, this kind of J.J. Abrams, whatever it is. There's a way to bring Ben home. They've discovered a way to bring Ben home. There's an algorithm, and they open it up, but it's going to take random office guy person. It could take him months to understand what this algorithm says. They also won't say who gave it, because, of course, all these secrets have to happen. I have a few ideas where they're going with it, but it doesn't even matter. It's another kind of just mystery box. Just try to capture your interest. The original show didn't need all these gimmicks. Once in a while, there was maybe an idea that they kind of explained, and maybe it could be an arc, a seasonal arc, or something that popped up later. But the writing here is always relying on trying to dangle something in front of your face, hoping that you'll somehow continue to watch. Personally, I couldn't care less. I'm at a point where I don't care. I don't care if they bring them back. Nothing matters here. This is the whatever he says, and Magic's like, "Well, I trust you. You're the best hacker of all time," or whatever it is. And then this nonsense. Look at how much time is wasted on this crap that nobody cares about. Just ruins the pacing of the episode. Nobody cares. So now we're back, and again, it throws you off. Instead of being inside this leap, you have to hear this dumb crap from these silly people that nobody cares about. So now the guy needs to go to the bathroom, and he says, "Okay, uh, I'll let you go to the bathroom. I'll tie you to the toilet or whatever it is." Meanwhile, Ben's disappointed fiance starts telling him about what they know about this person. Apparently, this guy, this the bounty hunter's bounty. This guy is some kind of lawyer or something, and he is slippery or shady or something, or something. He handles business for all these criminals that are arms dealers and different things like that. But he also skims off the top, so he stole things from them. So now they're all trying to chase after him. So basically, in the real history, they capture him and torture him and kill him. And Ben thinks this is all kind of weird, because even though this guy is a small time criminal, he has to protect him from bigger time criminal. Um, Meanwhile, the guy keeps trying to swindle him. We'll do this, we'll do that. I'll pay you double. I'll pay you this. I'll pay you that. And then Ben's not having any of it. He's like, no, no, I have to do the bounty. Trust me, you're safe with me. Meanwhile, a car comes along and starts shooting, because this is, I guess, the bad guys that are after him. I mean, if just in isolation, having a scene that there's some kind of chase and a little bit of action isn't the worst thing that I've ever seen. It's something, and then the car kind of flips over. They manage to make the other car crash, but then they crash, and Ben is kind of injured. Then after 8 minutes, they put this stupid title that nobody cares about. Um, then you have they're in the car, but here the lawyer shows something surprising. Ben releases him from the handcuffs, but instead of letting Ben die in a car that's about to explode, the lawyer actually takes him out. Ron Donofero says Script Doctor would have a field day with this if he could stop laughing. Yes, and I actually talked to him. He hadn't seen the episode yet. He's been busy lately with a lot of stuff that he's doing. I'm very happy for him, and I'm still gonna have a nice conversation with him about it for sure. So after they do this, Ben is sort of injured his shoulder or something. If he doesn't feel well, he's walking, and his disappointed fiance arrives. Sorry, his former disappointed fiance. Have to get used to that. Uh, so they're walking and talking and all this nonsense. And of course, every time, and this, I really dislike this, every time the disappointed fiance appears, I'm not sure it's in this scene, but it's almost in every scene where it doesn't matter even what episode it is. The other character starts saying, "Oh, do you have a girlfriend? Are you in a relationship? Are you this? Are you that?" Just to sort of trigger some kind of feeling and emotions between the both of them. And it's so unnecessary and stupid. It's just so many distractions from the one thing that this show is supposed to be about, and the show can't get it out of its own way. I will say the guy on the left that plays the annoying bounty guy, he's not the worst. I think the actor, I don't know this actor, but he tries his best to somehow do something here, but it doesn't really help him. I really feel like he's trying. I'll give him that. I'm not saying he's not like Christian Bale, but he's trying at least. Anyhow, Ben again talks to this lady, and I think he actually asks her, if I'm not mistaken, he starts asking her, "Oh," he realizes he's in New Jersey, so he starts thinking of that diner girl that he's in love with from Cairo, and basically he's like, "Can you find diner girl?" And she's like, "I don't know what you want from me, but fine." And then they're on a bus, but now it turns out, first of all, that this lawyer guy stole a bear. That's sort of set up for something that happens later, if you can call it a setup, although it's a dumb setup. I don't even really it's not a well it's the dumbest setup ever, but okay. Um, and then this lawyer guy tells him a story, and he says that originally he was supposed to be valedictorian when he was young. He was smart and successful, and then what happened was is that a week before the ceremony, he actually he was bumped off the valedictorian, and the valedictorian was given to somebody else. And we don't know who that somebody else is, but again, that will be explained later. Meanwhile, also, he start telling him, "You should think of yourself. What about this? What about your girl?" And Ben starts talking about his feelings for this lady, this diner girl that he met in different time periods and in Cairo. Again, another thing that nobody cares about and nobody wants to hear about. Back here, this is the part where really, I mean, to say that I was infuriated watching it, it's so annoying. You have just a heart to heart. This is Days of Our Lives. Ben's former disappointed fiance tells Magic that she has so much to deal with on an emotional level, because on one hand she thought Ben was dead, but now Ben is back, and now she has a different guy in her life, and it's so much for her to deal with. And Magic just says, "Wow, most people don't have to deal with the problems that you have to deal with. You're really a strong lady," or some crap like that. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the general direction, and that's basically the whole scene. And then he's like, "That's it. I don't even think that there's any resolution or anything." But now, Ben's former disappointed fiance and still current hologram arrives and said, "Listen, there's people on this bus that have guns, and they're gonna get you." And the thing is, if they already were going to do that, why didn't they do that earlier? But whatever, I don't know. I guess maybe they're waiting for the bus to stop. Maybe. In any case, Ben thinks of a great idea. They'll jump out of the window of the bus, and they do that. This already seems a bit weird. I mean, sure, you can jump out of a bus while it's driving full speed, but you know, I think that they'd get more injured than what we see here. They're both handcuffed. The whole thing is weird, but I mean, whatever. Now they're walking, and this bounty guy, he has an idea. Ron Donofrio is asking, I wonder if Ernie Hudson regrets accepting this role. I think that he basically did this because he's making money. He's not 20 years old. His role here is rather minimal. He probably shows up one day a week whenever they're filming, does a few scenes that he just says, "You go, girl." Somebody walks up to him and says, "I have so many feelings and emotion." He goes, "You're the best. You're the best woman ever." And then he leaves. Probably later he sits to himself and he chuckles and he thinks to himself, "This is a pretty good gig. I'm not really doing anything here. It's a dumb show, but they're paying." And I feel like out of all the actors, he's one of the salaries that they have to pay more to, because he's pretty much the only name that anybody knows here. Uh, and it's not like that this show has made the other people stars. Nobody really cares about any of these people. So finally, they arrive. They went to the brother, and he uncuffs him. The reason they also went is because apparently they convince Ben that he has an injury and he needs to get it taken care of. And then, of course, he arrives, and his little nephew shows him that he has a BB gun. I wonder if that'll be helpful later on. Uh, so then they go in, and he's actually nice to his nephew. This brother, who is, I think he's something. He's not an official doctor. I think he's more. He works at a university or something. I don't know what. He's a professor. I don't something like that. I don't think he's an official doctor, but he helps him anyways. Guess he knows enough to help something. And then he basically tells him my brother is trouble, and he explains to him that his brother was actually supposed to be valedictorian, but the reason that he wasn't valedictorian is because he stole something, and then they removed him, which meant that the second in line got to be valedictorian, and surprisingly, it was this brother. I guess that implies that they're twins. I honestly can't remember if somebody said that it was a twin brother. They don't look like they're not identical twins, but this doesn't even matter at this point. Ben calls the bounty lady and he tells her, "Hey, what's going on? I'm at this place." And he, like a complete dum dum, just gives her the address. I mean, I think that lady seemed weird to begin with. Uh, Maybe because I've seen Midnight Run, which this is kind of taking on, like trying to copy sort of a Midnight Run situation. And Midnight Run was a whole lot better than this, but you never trust those type of people. He's giving her all the address, all the info, and then though, and this is the most kind of the key moment of the thing. It turns out that the wife of the brother is Diner Girl. So now he's jumped every time he jumps in time, he meets Diner Girl, which, you know what? I don't love this. It's fine if there was a character that he met a few times and they did something with it. There, even the original series, you had Abigail, where he was her father, then her lover, which is weird, yes, and then her lawyer. But at least that one kind of made sense. This kind of annoys me. This whole situation, and the real reason they brought her in here is just to add another girl box to do the more drama, more days of our lives, more of a love triangle. Now there's a love. It's not a triangle; it's a square because you have sensitive douche, you have this lady, you have his disappointed fiance, you have him, and it's all crap to me. I can't stand it. And at this point, she doesn't know who he is, but he knows who she is. But conveniently, the slippery lawyer says, "Hey, Ben, he was on a date with somebody in Cairo." And the second he says that, she already knows who Ben is. It turns out that she's now. Remember how he told her in the diner that she was going to be a good. She needs to be the best physicist at Princeton. Where now she's heading the whole physics department. She's the best physics lady that ever lived, thanks to Ben and his comments or whatever. Ugh, what an awful episode. In any case, they're eating, and then she hugs him. She says, "You weren't going to tell me that you're you. How dare you?" And yeah, Ron, that's really stretching believability. It's complete crap. In any case, this lady comes out and she says, "How could you not tell me?" And he said, "Well, you're married. I didn't want to do that to you. It's whatever." She's like, "No, no, blah blah blah." And she's like, kind of, I don't know. Her whole behavior here is also unbelievable, and we'll get to that shortly. Now the two brothers are arguing, and I guess they bicker a lot because of the thing. And meanwhile, she's like, "Let me show you my son's room." So she goes up with him and she shows him that she built her own generator with her son at home. I think it's a generator. I don't know. There's something, I don't remember the details. It's a humidifier and a generator. Who even knows? It's just some generator that she built or something. And he's so impressed because she's so smart. She's the best. And this part is really the part that, like, I think that everything derails even more. I mean, if there's a situation that Ben's supposed to be in love with this woman, make this woman a woman of quality. What does she do? She takes him up to his son's room and she wants to make out with him. And it's like, and he's like, "Your husband is in the other room and your son." And she's like, "No, no, love is finite. We can love multiple people at the same time." I'm like, what is this lady talking about? This doesn't this doesn't look like keeper material. This is actually really annoying. And I'm also going to say that this whole idea that uh, this whole idea that this woman just sees him in different forms, just hears that it's him and immediately likes him is weird also. I mean, each time he's a different person and she doesn't know what he looks like. So automatically, I mean, if one time he was like this old man, then he's like a slob. I mean, I know that the spirit is it's interesting and all, but I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This idea that she's in love with his soul is just it doesn't ring true. It doesn't ring true to me, and I just don't like it. And that she would immediately know that it's him because the guy said something about a date in Cairo, and then she tries to kiss him, and then the son walks in, and he's like, "Oh, mommy," and she's like, "No," and they just like bullshit and walk out. It turns out that the uncle, what he's doing is he's emptying out teddy bears in which he put diamonds in the past. Now, the part that's stupid is that before they did the setup that he buys the teddy bear at the station, but if he's taking apart teddy bears here, why did he need to even buy one? Was it to replace the ones that he's taking apart? I mean, I didn't fully understand what that planning and payoff was. Maybe I was just so annoyed with what I was watching that I tuned out or something. But it looks to me like he's taking apart the teddy bears, so not really sure why he needed one. In any case, back at Quantum Leap headquarters, they learn that in the original history, it turns out or that the bounty hunter girl boss lady, she bailed out the guy that was trying to shoot Ben and the other guy, and then they deduce from that she's actually working for this arms dealer. So this guy was skimming from some arm dealer. He's trying to get even with him and get his diamonds back or whatever. So he basically paid off the bounty hunter girl boss lady. So they deduce all of that, which is fair enough. I mean, that's actually something that's fine. And now they say, okay, let's come up with a plan. So they come up with a plan that they're going to flood the basement with water and put salt in it. And then they're going to electrocute everybody using her whatever contraption that generate. I don't even know who gives a shit. She built something. I don't know if they're going to use it to help electrocute them. I don't remember already the details of the whole thing, but bottom line is they're going to electrocute them. They understand that they have to kill them. There's no other choice. And the husband is kind of tells her, "Okay, well, you go up with our son, and I'll stay here to meet the criminals." And she says, "No, no, you go up, you go upstairs and make sure the boy is okay. I'm going to handle business." And he's like, "Oh, of course you are," and he just leaves. And all of this is really, really dumb. I don't know if anybody's still here. This is Rhonda Farrow. Oh my God, this has to be from the woke writers. I mean, everything about this show, if you've seen the people that work there, and I've seen a few, and the story editor and whatever, this is beyond. This is just like a hive of people like that are all agenda and all nonsense. In any case, the father agrees to go up. They fill the basement with water. I mean, isolated again, just like that car chase. The idea of electrocuting people and thinking of a clever way to do it isn't a terrible idea. I mean, that in itself wasn't bad, and there's a little bit of suspense. They're supposed to arrive, but again, the episode is so crappy throughout that there's really nothing. By the time you get to this, I mean, I personally couldn't care less, and because the water isn't full yet, they need the guy to buy some time. So he goes out and wastes time and says, "Oh, I know where the diamonds are, and then I need time. I need this." Wastes a few minutes. Finally, I guess they manage to fill the water, and after he wastes the time, they go in there and they do the thing. They electrocute them like they were supposed to, and as they electrocute them, he jumps on a stool in order not to get electrocuted. A few get electrocuted, but unfortunately, the lady is actually wearing rubber soles, so they couldn't get rid of the girl boss. Uh, no way this gets a third season. I'm here. You know what? Anything is possible. It's possible that it would get a third season. I can't really tell you. I'll talk about that in a second. But right now, what happens is that there's a big fight, and during this fight, this is really stupid. The girl boss lady is basically fighting both Ben and Diner Girl together, and they're sort of doing an action scene with both of them against her. It's just so stupid. None of this is believable to me. that this lady would be so strong and powerful that a man and a woman can't neutralize her. Whole thing is dumb. At the end, though, they somehow manage to do it, and or the guy, the brother, shoots her in the eye with a BB or something like that. And this is the end of the episode. I think they don't kill her. They imply that she's going to be arrested. Um, he basically, Ben tells him, listen, my job is done here because we killed the bad guys. I mean, between you and me, there's still that arms dealer that he stole from. He'll find him somewhere else, but he's just like, nah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. And then I sound like the drinker. It'll be fine. But in any case, they they uh, they sort of hug the brothers, and everybody is happy. And it seems like he solved everything, and everything is great. And the last thing that happens is Diner Girl comes up to him and says, "Oh, it's cold outside. You should have this jacket." And then they exchange a few pleasantries. But of course, now she won't kiss him. At least she has the decency not to kiss him in front of her husband. In any case, that's the end of that, and she leaves. And this again, because they have to do the J.J. Abrams style mystery boxes right before the end. Ben's former disappointed fiance tells him that everything's going to be great, but then she suddenly notices that the little boy that he just saw, he's going to die in 18 months from now. And Ben is really sad about this, and he says, I have to go help. I have to go tell her. And then the second he sort of moves forward, uh, he starts leaping. He leaps, so he isn't able to stop the thing from happening. What a crappy visual for Leap. Look at the original series, see how he leaps. This looks like something that somebody did, on their laptop. Cheap ass looking show. So now we have the final scene where Ben's disappointed fiance tells sensitive douche that she saw the ring even though she wasn't supposed to. And after the cat's out of the bag, he says he was just waiting for a good moment and he couldn't find it. But now that she's already noticed it, then he gets down on one knee and tells her that she's the best and that he wants her to be his wife. And then she says, yes, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best. Ooh, smooch, I love you. And then the episode ends. And man, was that a crappy episode. Oh. Well, at least I'm making somebody laugh, Ron. Yes, this is a terrible this is a terrible, terrible episode. How do I get rid of this? How do I stop sharing? Okay. So now, I mean, the original series, there was a good episode that he was sort of a bounty hunter, and he had this female Sam had a female prisoner, whatever, that he was taking, and he was some kind of bounty hunter. Of course, in that one, the prisoner was a woman. She was pleasant looking, and there was a romantic thing going on because they were in a lot of adventures together. That episode was 100 times better than this one. It did everything that the show was supposed to do, was interesting and suspenseful and fun, and it had the romance, and it all worked. And this one, nothing works. It's just, they're insisting on putting all these pieces together into one place, even when they don't make much sense. Yeah, I mean, 100 times is an understatement. I agree, Ron. In any case, they're basically just doing this crap. They wanted to make this love interest a thing. The second there was that scene that she's in the son's room and she's trying to make out with him with her son and her husband next door, to me, this just derails. If they wanted us to take this seriously, like it's the love of his life or anything, I don't think that that's love of the life material. I think that she kind of seems really not love of life. I mean, it would have been interesting if she had a husband, but still there was something feeling sparked. I think that would have been fine. But that she just says, who cares? My son's there. Let's just kiss now, whatever. This is just really awful, awful writing. And this episode, again, it had a few moments in it. If I had to, take out, maybe there's 5 minutes in it that could be something that could be in an episode. But the truth is that the way all these things tie together, they're stupid. Nobody cares about anything that's happening. And really, that's the issue that I have with the show, that I never feel any stakes here. I don't care. They keep ruining the pacing. a lot of times in movies, you have a situation where a director looks at something, and even there's a scene that's great, he has to remove it because it spoils the pacing, even if the scene is important. Just for example, I'm thinking off the top of my head, if I'm not mistaken, in Godfather, there was a scene that Michael Corleone kills the guy that killed his wife in Sicily, and he gets even with him. He brings a shotgun. He goes to some place and he kills him when he arrives on U.S. soil. Later, they incorporated it into the second movie in a different way, where somebody goes and blows him up. But the original scene, apparently, I think that perhaps it spoiled the pacing of the movie, and they just didn't quite know how to insert it into the movie, and they decided to dump it. Tex. Yeah, you haven't seen it yet, but it's nice to see you here. But this is we're already talking afterwards, so but it I think that Ron Donofrio, after my summary of this episode, will never wanna watch it. Although for laughs, you can watch it if you want. But what I'm trying to say is that sometimes even big directors watch a movie and they say, "This scene isn't working, I'll take it out." This series, on the other hand, almost every second scene is a scene like that. All those present day things that are just treading water, that they're doing nothing. I understand that perhaps, due to budgetary reasons or whatever reasons, they think it's good to have that other thing. It's easy. They just put them next to a computer and have them saying the obvious stuff that everybody knows. It's just dumb. It's economical, but economical for me doesn't work. And all the soap opera nonsense, all of it, it just doesn't work either. So yes, Tex Roger, was this written by another woke writer? I really don't like the those shows. Yeah, it's I think that all of the writers are like this. The chief person that's sort of the chief story editor is extremely in that department, and it shows. Uh, I've actually seen interviews with that person, and it explains a lot about why this show is the way it is. Once again, I mean, at least some of the clothing they wore seemed kind of like it was in the '70s, and maybe the car. They did their best. It wasn't terrible. The house kind of looked old and whatever, but still, there's something about this show that they never quite convinced me that he's traveling through time. They did more of an effort this time, but once you have the girl boss lady from the bonds company, it kind of all goes out the window because it just doesn't ring true to me. I don't know, and maybe somebody will look in history and say, "Well, there was one lady like that that lived somewhere," and maybe it was. And again, it's not an isolated incident. It's every single time the people act like they're in 2024, no matter what year he travels to. He travels to the 50s, people talk like they're in 2024 and act like they're in 2024. He travels to 1915, same thing. Doesn't matter where he goes. They're all 2024 California or 2024 New York or whatever it is, and they don't he never seems like he's traveling through time. So I personally, I don't like that at all. Ah, and we're heading there's only 13 episodes this season, so we're gradually heading to the end of it. If I had to guess, I don't know why I think that, the fact that there was a mystery as to who worked on this algorithm, some of the things I was thinking, I thought that somehow this kid, who's they say is a very smart kid, I thought that somehow they'd make him, that at the end it's him that made the algorithm. It's also possible, based on what I've seen from the past season, that they themselves haven't even thought who it is. Maybe they're writing it as we speak. They're just like, okay, we planted this mystery box. Who's the person that's writing this algorithm? Maybe it'll be somebody else. I don't know why, but I feel like perhaps sensitive douche is not going to be who he presents himself at the end. That maybe he's kind of a too good to be true type of person. I don't know that for sure, but I feel like he just arrives and I don't know. First of all, also he's sort of a male figure, and I feel like this show at the end they usually don't like those. I feel like he has too much authority and sort of something about him sticks out, and it's almost an obvious choice to be some kind of villain, but I could be wrong. So, that was it. Tex sometimes tells me that he doesn't like it when I waste his time, and I don't wanna waste Tex's time. I'll tell you something. there isn't much to like about this episode. I think that it was poorly written. The setups aren't good. The payoffs aren't good. Uh, it's all over the place. It's scattered, and nothing really works for me. If you like this show, if you enjoy watching it, that's good. I certainly more power to you. You can watch it, but I think that we're getting towards the season finale of the second season, and I don't think we're in a better situation than we were last season. I think that it was bad last season, and I think it's bad now. And it's really a shame they got this miracle renewal that they didn't even deserve. I know that Script told me this, that he just thought that NBC had a content issue, and they it's not that they loved that show so much as they didn't have many options, and they kind of not even enthusiastically gave it a second season. But if you already get a gift like that and you know that first season was a piece of crap, at least make an effort to make the second season better. But I think that when the type of people that are involved that don't know what they're doing, then giving them another season isn't going to help. What they really needed to do, uh, what they really needed to do was actually to uh, they needed to bring a whole new team of people. They needed to say, okay, anybody that was involved in season one, you're fired. Now let's bring a whole new team of people that actually care about this show. Remove the activists, because there's literal activists. I'm not saying that as a metaphor. Oh, they're kind of activists. No, they are activists. There's activists leading the writing on this show. Uh, Absolutely. And remove those, bring people that know how to write, and just try to tell a good story. If they just would have focused on the leaps like the original show did, once in a blue moon you want to show something that's happening in the future if it's really crucial. They did that a few times on the original show, but they used it sparingly. When they did that, it really meant something. On this show, it doesn't mean anything. Seeing sometimes less is more. Having to see all their just random everyday conversations and talking about their feelings in 2024, it just doesn't help anybody. Thanks, Tex. He says he likes the insights that I have. Uh, in any case, you guys are welcome to watch this episode. It could be there for a few laughs. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you won't. Also, one has to wonder what the end game will be with that diner girl. I think the diner girl. I still think that something about trying to bring him back is going to tie to her. She'll arrive suddenly in 2024 as an old lady. I don't know what they'll do. Something stupid that it'll somehow all tie together. Maybe it'll be the son. I have a few additional ideas, but I don't want to just say because I'm not sure about them. Uh, in any case, it is what it is. And I guess that's it. I don't know what more to say about this episode, just that it's terrible and that I didn't enjoy it. If anybody here has any questions, let me look at the comments here. So very true, well said. If Hannah is back again, it's overkill. She should also be used sparingly. Yes, they decided, they basically hired this actress to be a part of the show, and since that moment, every single leap of his, he leaps where she's at, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? It would have been okay if let's say once a season he runs into her. There's this recurring character that once in a blue moon you see her, but the fact that now it's a thing and that he loves her and she doesn't even know what he looks like, but she's in love with his soul and she wants to cheat on her husband. All of this is nonsense. I absolutely don't like it, and I think she's not well used. That's it. I guess this. Thanks for whoever showed up here, both on YouTube and on Rumble. I am really grateful for the great responses I get. I know that some people watch these things later, and I also am thankful for that. If anybody wanted a good review, hopefully, I don't know if this was a good review, but I tried. And considering that usually the reviews I see from the few channels that do them, they just keep on slobbering over this show and saying how great it is. Channels that mysteriously, actors from the show then pop up to talk to them about how great the show is. And they get usually advanced screenings and they're friends with the people on the show. Very strange stuff happens with those channels, but I'm not, it's fine. I mean, all those people are welcome to come on this channel if they want. You know what? They can be here, and maybe I'd even include them in a video in my main channel if they wanted. I'm happy to interview all those people if they want to come and explain what they've done with the show. We can have a very nice chat about it. Certainly, I'd love to hear their thoughts. At the same time, I'd also tell them what I think about their show, which is probably why I never get any kind of calls or any kind of emails or any DMs from them saying, "Hey, we really want to be here to discuss our show with you." Uh, I guess I understand them. When you're a part of a show that's not good, you're not necessarily interested in going on in a place that is not your friend doing the stream. Oh, anyhow, I guess it's been a really nice time hanging out with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I wish you all a great evening, a good night, and I'm going to see you all soon. Uh, I think Tex, uh, how do I star a comment? Uh, Basically, just put an emoji of a. Oh, I don't actually have an emoji of a star. Just write just write question in caps lock, and I'll know that you want me to actually look at it and answer it. Tex Rogers. Thanks, Tex. Thanks, Ron Donafero. Thanks for other people who were kind of lurking or listening and didn't say anything. Thanks for the people on Rumble. I'm sorry I usually can't really interact with you, but I'm so grateful that you watch it as well. Uh, Thanks, Tex. Thanks, Ron. You all have a great night. And Thursday, we'll see you here on this channel for Quantum Leap Revisited. And can't wait. That's this Thursday. That's tomorrow. Oh, time flies. So I'm going to see you all soon. We're going to see each other tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in and catch you later. Bye, guys.